G'day guys, it's Dave here from Guitar Zero to Hero, and I have with me Andyguitar here.
Hey.
And we're at the Journey Instruments booth at Namm 2020.
Namm 2020!
Exciting times. So we're going to do a Q&A here today with Andyguitar. So let's kick it off with a tricky question.
Ooh.
Oh, it's not tricky, but it's tricky for beginners. So how do you master bar chords? Now this is one of the most common questions that I get asked, and
Top
I'm sure
3
you
tips for bar chords. First of all, keep your elbow in. So if you're playing the F bar chord and your elbow's out here, it's going to be very, very tricky. Keep your elbow into the side. What that does is kind of tip number 2, which is have your first finger on the inside. So the kind of more, this bit's of anyone's finger is quite fleshy. This bit's a lot harder. That's a lot better for bar chords. A lot better positioning. That first finger could also be, for some people, a little bit higher is easier, but you just want to make sure that first finger isn't hitting a crease of where the strings are, really. I'd say tip number 3, middle finger, third finger, and little finger right on their tips. Curl them over like your...
curling is
I would say Wolverine,
important.
but Wolverine doesn't really do it. He does that, doesn't he? But yeah, really curl over those fingers, and the first finger's very flat. And that is a big technique for kind of anything going forward. If I'm doing lead guitar, kind of bluesy licks, first finger's very flat, the other fingers are very kind of curled over and like this. Those are my top 3 tips for bar
Perfect
chords.
tips. There you go, and that's why you're one of the best guitar teachers on YouTube.
Some people say that.
I think you are, Andy.
Thank you, mate.
No worries. All right, next one. What's the first chord you ever learnt?
Oh, C chord. So I have an older brother.
C chord?
He had
Good
guitars in the house,
Yeah.
so I was lucky enough to be in one of those households. I know a lot of people aren't, you don't have guitars when many people don't have guitars as a kid. But it was a Stratocaster style. I think it was an Encore one.
Yeah.
And Strats have really, they call it a longer scale length, so their necks are literally longer, the frets are far wide apart. And when I was about 8, he taught me a C chord, which is fine as a first chord, but it just felt massive. I just there's a guitar upstairs that's like comedically massive, right?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It felt absolutely huge, and I just kind of put it down and went, nope, there's no way I can do that.
Well, you have quite large hands.
Yeah,
so
but I was young. But
yeah.
I know. I don't have. I'm a tall guy, and still that was really, really tricky for me.
Yeah.
And it was really heavy, and I just kind of put it down and went, oh, that's not for me. I must not be able to play guitar.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a couple of years later when I started playing anything else, really.
Yeah.
That's not to begrudge that chord. That's the one I remember. He showed me other stuff, I'm sure.
So the C gave you a bit of a grief, but then you came back to it?
Yes, I've seen that many, many other times.
Yeah.
And I was one person that got an acoustic guitar as my first guitar to kind of learn how to play on.
Yeah.
And then I was going to reward myself with an electric guitar later. I was like 12. I was like, oh, this is the plan, okay? I got an acoustic, and at the start I never played it.
Yeah.
And then I got an electric, and I just played it all the time, and then went back to and from the electric and acoustic absolutely fine. And I think there's a misconception that you kind of have to learn on a certain instrument to learn properly. Yeah. Whatever makes you want to play it. Like, how wicked do these guitars look? If that's what makes you want to play it, like that's a guitar for you. You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing in, like, especially a first guitar. Yeah. You gotta look at it and want to be able to play. That was a perfect segue.
That's a good segue into our next question, which is acoustic or electric. Which do you prefer?
For me, I mean, I play both, probably an equal amount of time. But for me, acoustic guitar, because I like to be self-sufficient, and if I'm doing a gig, I would absolutely be playing acoustic guitar. It would just be easier to play, to strum and sing, and I could go for hours, really. I wouldn't run out of stuff to do. For electric guitar, if I was on my own, I'd be over-relying on a looper pedal, which isn't my thing, really, and I would probably... that's not what anyone particularly follows me for. But if I had an electric guitar and with a band, rock out, that's my idea of the most fun thing in the world. So, with a band, electric, but on my own acoustic.
Yeah, awesome. Next question is more of a technique-based question. How do you figure out songs by ear?
So that's a process
method.
that happens over time.
Gotcha.
But I think it always comes back to a pretty solid method. Yeah. Which is, if you just listen to a song and you want to work out the chords, work out the bass note first. Work out the root note of those chords,
massive.
which is typically the lowest note that you can hear.
Yeah.
So whatever the lowest note is, kind of sing it to yourself is a good thing, like
Yeah.
and then you just literally try and find that note, and it will be somewhere between, on the thickest string between the open string and the 12th fret. One of those notes will be the song you're trying to work out. And then from there, like say it's an A, straight away you've got some information from that. Whatever the first chord is, if you have some music theory knowledge of chords in a key, and you know a little bit of knowledge of harmony, or just experience of learning songs before, you're like, that's an A note, okay. So this chord is either major or minor. So is it major or minor? Try and figure that out. Which one does it sound like? Say if it's A minor, for example, that's probably going to happen, for example, in the key of C, which has C, F, G, and A minor in it. Say it was, you know, B flat major. Well, that might be in the key of B flat major, and therefore there's your 1, 4, 5 in that key. And if you have that kind of instinct for following pitch, but also a little bit of knowledge as well, or experience of learning a lot of songs and spotting patterns in songs, it becomes like, oh, that's going to be the next chord. Oh, there it is. Oh, that wasn't correct. It must be this one. There it is. You know.
Yeah. That's exactly my method for figuring out songs by ear as well. So
what about solos? Say you want to work out some acoustic guitar solo.
Yeah. Acoustic
What's your
guitar
method
solo?
there?
My method there is it's similar. So I sing. Well, actually,
you would probably learn some of the chords, right?
Yeah, the chords.
You want to know what's happening underneath as well.
Exactly. So I need to figure out what the key is for the song. Once I know the key.
So if you want to learn a solo, you need to start by the things we've just talked about with learning the rhythm parts.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no roadmap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But when you do know the key, you'll have an idea of what scale works over that, or and a starting note.
Yeah.
Which finding the starting note of a solo, exactly the same as finding the root note.
Yeah. Agreed.
And from there,
I would, if you got access to a tool that can slow down the song, especially if you.
Well,
if you're
YouTube
trying
does that.
Yeah, YouTube. If you can just go 75% speed, it'll keep the pitch of the song, but you'll hear the solo a bit more slowly. And then you can just pinpoint those individual notes one at a time using the scale.
So often there's a faster run, and even when I'm learning some songs, there'll be a run where I'm like, I can't hear the notes there, I just hear the lick as a whole. And you slow it down to 75 or even 50%, and you can suddenly hear each individual note, and you just pick it out like you would any other.
Yeah.
Such a useful tool. A lot of play, rewind, and find those keys on the keyboard. I can't remember which it is. Is it like K pauses and then back is backspace or something by like 5 seconds?
I should know this as a YouTuber.
But I know I can't remember them offhand, but you'll get used to them really quickly because you just rewind, listen, and it's got to be there. You've got to be able to hum it. Got to be able to. You're working on what's called your musical memory, and if you have a really good musical memory, working stuff out by ear will become easier because you remember it, and everything becomes easier if you can work on that. And even if that's not your end goal to be able to shred or play a blues solo, it's so important to have a good musical memory. Otherwise, you can get into that kind of Groundhog Day learning with guitar.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to remember it.
There you go. All right. Amazing overview there for ear training. So thanks for that, Andy. Next question. If you were not a guitar YouTuber, what would you be doing?
Well, a guitar teacher, because I was. Yes.
There you go.
And that for me was like my dream job, really. So just teaching students one-to-one, teaching group classes, and then I was using YouTube to kind of do that. If it wasn't music, I might be just a teacher.
Gotcha.
Because I'd say just a teacher, you know, that in many ways be a harder job or a more expansive job than this, because we teach a lot of the same things a lot if you're teaching beginners, frankly. Yeah. But yeah, my brother's a a primary school, has been a teacher, has been a headmaster, and gone on from there. So I might be that route.
There you go.
How about yourself? If it wasn't music at all?
If it wasn't music, so actually before I started YouTube, I was an engineer. So I studied civil engineering. I did that for a few years. I absolutely hated it. But I'd always played music, so I was like, maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. So that's sort of how I got started here. And I guess, if I wasn't doing music, I'd probably still be doing that. Although I might have, if I was still doing that, I probably would have quit by now and tried something else.
Yeah,
but,
you tried many things.
Know,
and that's all this was as well. Starting a YouTube channel was just one of a few things I was trying at the time to see what would happen. And there has to be some element of that in any creative career or anything where you're going something a little out of the norm, I guess.
Yeah, very nice. Next question. What is your favorite amp to play?
My favorite amp is my there is one because I bought it with my own money, and I bought it because it fulfilled a need for me, which was a Victory Sheriff 22. You know the Victory
I've seen
range?
that in your videos. Yeah.
So I got that because I've always loved the plexi sound, which is the old vintage Marshall sound, which you kind of own. It's kind of wanting what you can't have, because those old amps, they only sound a certain way when you crank them, when they're way too loud to listen to without earplugs, and when they're sort of moving air and that my amp can't cope good sound, which no other amp does, and it's actually really hard to get that sound from the amps that make that sound, because they're temperamental, or you need a pedal, or you need some studio wizardry to get them to sound like that. And this amp just does it when you turn it on. It does it at low volume and high volume. For entry-level amps, Boss Katana 50, Katana 100, Katana Air now. You know, they do a lot of that at super low volume, but you can also gig with them. Endless tweaking, way more capabilities. But for, the Andyguitar amp, Victor Sheriff 22, that's what you'll see me with when it's at that level.
There you go. Next
How about
question.
yourself? What's your favorite amp?
So
I mean, that's just for now as well. That's just what I'm using at the moment. It's an endless pursuit of tone, really, and keeping things interesting.
Absolutely. There's just so many amps out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It all comes down to personal preference.
What do you have?
But
mainly acoustic guitar for your channel, right?
Yeah, mainly acoustic guitar. But
no, I've seen you with a Les Paul.
I've done some electric stuff. So I do have a few amps. My favorite I've ever had is Vox AC30. So
nice.
Can't go past the Vox AC30. They can just do it all. But yeah.
Do you use it with the treble booster?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah?
Not just for the Brian May sound as well. Like that's
okay. All right. I need to invest in that.
That makes it sing.
There we go. Yeah. I might go upstairs and try to find one of them.
No, there'll be some.
But yeah, for a beginner, I would definitely recommend the Boss range. That's not even a beginner. Like that.
Well,
they're just really versatile amps, aren't they?
They're sort of affordable amps that they are a bit future-proofed because if you ever gig with them, band practices, anything like that, they're still going to work. And a lot of people, have them in their gig bags when they're touring the world. They use whatever they use on stage, but backstage they got something smaller.
On to the next question. So, if you were to recommend a guitar for a beginner, what would it be? Or a process for buying someone's first guitar?
If possible, try it in the shop. Yeah,
that's a big one.
I buy so many things online these days. It's far too easy to buy some things online as well. But the thing is, they all look so similar. If you don't know what you're looking for, you can be surprised, especially if you haven't seen a lot of guitars up close. You can be surprised. Videos are better than photos, for sure. But if possible, just have been in a guitar shop and see stuff for yourself. For the finishes on guitars and everything like that. If you go into a guitar shop, you're probably going to see something that's at least to get what style you're into. And then you'll be able to try them and see if they've got low action, which is one of the most important things, especially for beginners, but what we all look for really, is just those strings being nice and close to the fretboard. And there are many good options. There's actually these days there are too many options to even list. Electric and acoustic. There's so much out there at a really affordable price, which was just not the case when we were learning guitar, right? There was nothing like under £200 that you'd really go, oh yeah, like that's good for now, and also I can gig with that whenever, and you can now, you really can. Yeah,
that's a really important thing to be able to play the guitar before you buy it. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you.
If you find a similar thing online shopping's not going to go away. It's only going to get bigger. But have been in shops and have seen stuff. It's so important.
Because I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but you see a guitar that you think you'd love to play, so you go into the shop and you play it, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I thought it would be, and I probably wouldn't buy it now.
Typically, for me, that has been Telecasters. I should play Telecasters, but I just most Telecasters just ain't for me. Just the big kind of D necks,
Yeah,
the baseball bat necks,
Yeah.
and the body that's not quite ergonomic and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Looks-wise, absolutely. Playability-wise, I don't know. It's just not my thing.
And on the flip side, you might see a guitar that you visually doesn't appeal to you, but you might pick it up and play it, and it's like the best thing you've ever played.
Absolutely, and I'm sure at some point I will play a Telecaster, and I remember playing one years ago. Actually, it was based on a Telecaster. It was, it was by a different brand, and I was like, I love this guitar, and that's the thing. They're so all about the details. They're so all about how it feels on the lap.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you pick one up and you're like, I'm not gonna put this down. I'm just gonna buy this.
And I guess let's wrap this up with the final question. What's in store for you 2020?
A lot more lessons, both for a lot more videos, both on the guitar, but also on my Andy Piano YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's been going really well, hasn't it?
It's been big. Well, you've got to put content out, and I haven't put enough content out on it. It's been kind of one video a week, and I'm going to do a lot more.
Yeah, awesome.
That's always the goal, more and better.
Yeah,
it's the same goal every year, really.
Brilliant. So
How
we're going to wrap
yourself?
it up. Oh, myself? Oh, I think pretty much the same thing. Yeah, I don't have anything.
It's the endless goal
set in mind, but like. Yeah,
or it's the endless ambition anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Just more lessons.
We just want to teach more guys to play music and play guitar.
Want to reach more people and help more people learn how to play this wonderful instrument.
Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to practicing it heaps more myself this year. Yeah. It's just one of my goals. I've focused a lot on fingerstyle playing over the last few years, and not enough in other areas.
Yeah.
And start recording just for fun, all of those sorts of things. Because when I record for fun, that gets me better and shows me the things I need to practice. Get inspired and just really really enjoy playing and knuckle down and try and get a lot better.
Actually, now that you mention it, I do this year want to get a lot better at blues. Like that's like I haven't really dabbled in that much. I've always done pop, rock,
guitar,
metal.
Yeah, metal. Okay.
Yeah.
So
but
it's so common, and you know how much that will influence the other styles. Right? You can always add a blues tinge to pop or a blues tinge to metal, which really makes you sound something else, sound really unique.
Absolutely.
No, wicked.
So that's a goal.
That's wonderful to hear.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up at the Journey Instruments booth for this Andyguitar Q&A. Thanks so much, Andy.
Oh, thank you, Dave. No, it's been really fun. Great to meet you.
And thanks to Journey Instruments for having us. Check out their guitars. Amazing travel
There'll
guitars.
be some links below.
Yeah,
links below. Check out the other videos we've shot together at Namm.
If you got any other questions or comments, then leave them in the comments
down below. Yeah. We'll be there.
And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Come and close the curtains. It's all we need. It's candlelight, you and me, and a bottle of wine. Hold me tonight. Though you know I'm going away, and how I wish that I could stay. So take this wine and drink with me. Let's delay our misery. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. There's a log on the fire, and it burns right before you. Tomorrow comes with one desire, to take me away. It ain't easy to say goodbye, so darling, please don't start to cry. Girl, you know I got to go. Lord, I wish it wasn't so. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight, save tonight. Tomorrow comes to take me away. I wish that I could stay. Girl, you know I've got to go. Lord, I wish it wasn't so. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone. Save. Fight the break of dawn. Save tonight. Fight the break of dawn, save tonight. Fight the break of dawn, save tonight.